Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the NBA coverage. Today, this podcast is brought to you by FinalFormSubs.com. FinalFormSubs.com is a supplement brand where you can get just about anything you need. We need stuff for your immune system, stuff to strengthen your bones. We got protein powders, BCAAs, creatine, fat burners. You name it, we got it. All natural, pure, high quality. Go to FinalFormSubs.com. It's SUPPS. FinalFormSubs.com. Use promo code CoachStrib, all caps, no space, to get 10% off your order. Now, getting into this, let's just go ahead and go over the conference standings for the East and the West in the NBA. First, we got the Celtics sitting at number 1. We got the Bucks sitting at number 2. Bucks are only a half game behind the Celtics. Then you got Orlando Magic at 3. Orlando Magic was sitting at the number 2 spot a couple days ago, but then they moved down to number 3. But again, they're only one game away from the Celtics, and they're half game away from the Bucks. So it's tight there. Then you got Philly at 4, Knicks at 5, Pacers at 6. Then you got Miami Heat at 7, Cleveland at 8, Nets at Brown, Hawks at 10. Then we have Toronto at 11, Charlotte at 12, Bulls at 13, Wizards at 14, Pistons at 15 and 2 and 18. For the West, we still have the Minnesota Timberwolves strong in that one spot, and they're actually getting a little bit of a separation between them and the number 2 spot. They're the OKC, Oklahoma City Thunders, at the number 2 spot. They are 2 games behind the Timberwolves, so they're 2 games strong above. The Timberwolves are 2 games strong above the Oklahoma City Thunder. But then you have the Nuggets, who are also 2 games behind the Timberwolves, but the Nuggets have played more games than OKC. But Nuggets sitting there at 3. Then you have the Los Angeles Lakers sitting at 4, who have actually rose up this past week. Quite a significant spot. Last time we talked, they were a middle of the pack team. They were sitting right in that 8-9 spot. And even 3 weeks ago, they were 13th. They started off the season not as bad as they did last year, but they did start the season off semi-rough. It actually wasn't too bad being how early it was, but they were 10th, 12th, 13th down there towards the bottom. Now they've shot rocket up to the 4th seed, and they are only a game and a half behind the number 1 spot, or 3.5 behind the number 1 spot, a game and a half behind Denver to catch that 3rd. Then we have Kings at 5, Mavs at 6, Suns at 7, which we'll get into the play-in in a second. We'll talk about some of that stuff. Pelicans at 8, Clippers at 9, Rockets at 10, Warriors at 11, Jazz at 12, Blazers at 13th, Grizzlies at 14th, and Spurs there at 15 at 3 and 16. Actually, let's just go to the in-season tournament real quick. All right, so the first round of the in-season tournament, it was the Lakers played the Suns. Lakers win their late close game. AR-15, Austin Reeves, he's number 15 for the Lakers. For those of y'all that don't know, AR-15 hit a dagger to basically secure the win for the Lakers. They're deep late in the game. So Lakers win 106-103. The Pelicans beat the Kings 127-117. The Bucks beat the Knicks. Julius Randle had a phenomenal game that game. Dropped a club, I believe 36, maybe even, no, he had, actually, let me check that game because I have Julius Randle on my fantasy team. Julius Randle had 41 points. Dropped 41 points, but it wasn't enough to get the dub. Pacers beat the Celtics 112-122. Now, moving on to the, sorry if my phone will cooperate. So that was it. So now for the semifinals, we have Lakers and the Pelicans playing on Thursday, which is today, later tonight at 9 p.m. And the Milwaukee Bucks and the Indiana Pacers will be playing, and then the winner of those will be playing in the championship. And to be honest, I think the Lakers have a good shot at winning it all. I don't know what that's going to mean for them the rest of the season, because a lot of people are trying to figure out what merit does this have. It's the first one. I think playing these extra games does increase their rankings or their seeding, because it's more games that they're playing. But I think it's more games that they're playing. But anyway, it'd be interesting to see how this plays out with the Lakers and Pelicans playing. I believe it should be Friday. No, they are playing Thursday. the semifinals, and then when will the championship game be played? It doesn't even have it on here yet. But I assume that's gonna be played on a Tuesday, if I were to guess. Interesting that they're gonna play it on a Thursday, competing with Thursday Night Football. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So one things I do want to talk about is I just want to talk about a few teams. I want to talk about the Memphis Grizzlies, because the Memphis Grizzlies, everybody's trying to figure out what's going on with the Memphis Grizzlies. Obviously, they're not playing that well. They're 5-14, so they've only played 19 games. Ja Morant's suspension is for the first 25 games of the season, which means he will be back fairly soon. By I believe next week is when he'll come back. I don't know how many games they play in the next couple weeks, but they'll play 6 games in 2 weeks for sure. So Ja Morant, his return is going to be coming in. I think depending on, and the question is, can Ja Morant salvage this team to get them into the, obviously you're going to have to get him into the play-in tournament. And I think they have a chance to sneak into the 10th seed for the play-in tournament, but it's all going to depend on how long it takes Ja Morant to get back into the groove of basketball, how long it takes him to get back in game shape, and how he performs from a efficiency standpoint to help the team to win. Because we all know that the Grizzlies, this is about as good as I expect the Grizzlies to be without Ja Morant, right? And so, yes, I do think he can make that big of a difference as one player, especially from the point guard position, because I do think he makes the other players around him better, and the team is better, obviously, when he is on the court. But I do think that their max might be 30 wins on the season, but I do think 30 wins can get them that 10th spot, potentially. We will see, but that is an interesting thing going on there. The Warriors, got to talk about the Warriors. I'm not sure what is. Obviously, they're riddled with injuries because Clay's not been playing as good as he'd hoped, obviously. Chris Paul's been in and out of injury. They have, actually, if I can look right now, Chris Paul is game time decision, lower leg. Gary Payton is out. You got Andrew Wiggins is game time decision with finger. And so, I mean, they've been kind of going through it, and that is what's got them in that 11th seed. Now, again, it is the Warriors, so you never know. They're such a streaky team. They can figure it out here in the next week or two, or the next 10, 20 games, maybe even after the halftime or half point at the season, end up figuring it out. And with the Warriors, all you gotta do is give them a shot, and they'll take advantage of any opportunity they get. So if I'm the Warriors, I'm only worried about making it to the play-in, because if you make it to the play-in, you have a shot to make it to the playoffs. You have a shot to make, if you get into the playoffs, you have a shot of winning it all. Again, I go back to last year when Miami made it all the way to the finals, going through the play-in tournament. So it's definitely possible. And the Warriors they got so many vets, and they're such a well-coached team. I think if they do get in that position, they can, potentially make a deep run into the playoffs. Outside of that, Timberwolves are still looking good. They're at the top. Will they be able to hold it? I'm not sure. Same with the Phoenix Suns. They've dropped to 7th. They were a higher ranked seed, but now they're dropping to 7th. And I do think it's a problem because the big three for the Suns, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant, they're struggling to all three play at the same time, which is a problem that Durant had when he was with the Nets. The big three could not stay healthy, which is a problem. But all else, the Bucks are also looking good. Again, the Bucks started off rough because Dame had a little rough patch there early in the game. Obviously, he had a great debut. I believe he had 39 points his debut, but right after the debut, he had some trouble with scoring and efficiency. But they started to figure it out. They're sitting there at the number 2 spot. And so moving on, I do want to go over the leaders we have. Points per game. We got Joel Embiid at the front with 32 points per game. You got Jokic at 31, Durant at 31, Fox at 30.3, Giannis at 30.2. Rebounds per game. Jokic still sitting tall at the number 1 spot at 12.8. Davis at 12.6. Sabonis at 11.9. Gobert at 11.6. And Embiid at 11.2. Assists per game. You got Halliburton at 11.9, Young at 10.7, Jokic at 9.8, Fred VanVleet at 9.1, Doncic at 8.4. Steals per game, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at 2.4 steals per game, which is crazy. Donovan Mitchell, 2.1. Suggs at 1.9. Barnes at 1.8. Jones at 1.8. Blocks per game. Anthony Davis is leading the charge there with blocks per game at 2.8. Brook Lopez, 2.8. They're both tied for 1. Wembanyama at 2.7. Gobert, 2.4. And Holmgren at 2.2. Field goal percentage. We got, I butchered his name last time. Paulatul. His first name is Jacob. He plays for the Raptors. 72.9. Then we got Gofford at 70.3, Jared Allen at 69.2, Williams at 65.3, Wagner at 63.3, three-point percentage, Wallace at 52.5%, Batum at 51.3, Durant at 50%, Caruso 47.7, and McDermott at 47.5. Free throw percentage, don't really care about free throw percentage and all that stuff. And Cade Cunningham is leading at 4.4 turnovers per game. Doncic, Ball, Garland, and Antetokounmpo are all in there at turnovers per game. I'm interested to see how this plays out. I'm very curious at how the in-season tournament is going to affect, or if it even's going to matter when it comes later down the stretch. And also, I saw a lot of things where, will the in-season tournament be something that will be a part of people's legacies later on down the road? I think for people playing now, especially the older guys like the LeBrons, the KDs, the Russell Westbrooks, those guys, I don't think this would be a factor into their legacy in terms of, I think winning it might help their legacy, but it won't hurt their legacy because it's just now being implemented. Now, guys that may be rookies now or guys that will be coming in the next few years from there on, I do think winning this will be one of those accolades you put up to why he's the GOAT. You know, just how we'll talk about why somebody's a GOAT because they have a great three-point percentage. That might be a factor in, oh, this is better than that because he does this, and three-point percentage. Well, at one point in time, there was no three-point line. But you don't knock the guys that didn't play with three-point line, that didn't play with that. You don't knock them for it not being there, right? Some people try to, but I don't think you can really knock them because it's not there. So when you're looking at accolades, you got the All-Stars, All-NBA first team, second team, third team, All-NBA defense, and then I believe you're going to start seeing accolades of in-season tournament champion, in-season tournament MVP, things like that. It'd just be another accolade to throw in there when you're getting into deep arguments. And I think it'd probably be used, at least early on, maybe like the next 10 years, it'd be used as one of those things where if two people you're debating have really similar resumes, if this person has 5 in-season tournament championships and this person doesn't, you could probably throw that in there as like, okay, they're so similar, but this dude got 5 in-season tournaments, this dude has none. So it might be one of those like small nuanced things you can go to make a debate, but I'm definitely excited for this competitive basketball because they are playing. And I said this early on, this is only going to work if the players take it seriously and they actually play hard as if there's something to play for, and it is working. I know people that are watching just because, you know, it's the in-season tournament, and, you know, unlike me, I watch every game regardless, but it's turning out to be exciting basketball to watch. That Lakers and Suns game was exciting to watch. But that has been all for this episode of the NBA coverage, and we'll catch you guys next week.